Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to this week's Commanders Countdown. Definitely a great week to recap. We beat the 8-0 Eagles. So for the second time in 3 years, we've taken out the only undefeated team left in the league. First with the 11-0 Steelers, which we had that amazing fourth down stop, I remember, in that game, just quick to mention. And then now taking down the Eagles. Now they're 8-1. So definitely a good week to get the victory. It was definitely a crazy game.
Yeah. I mean, Washington continuing their domination. Oh, what happened? Ad.
An ad came on. I'm sorry.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, it was.
I didn't even hear it on my end.
It was a video of Taylor with the chains on it, and on the ESPN page.
Oh, that's a great. That video is going to get mentioned on here for sure. Obviously, that video is going to get posted up. I posted the Kirk Cousins
we could just
one,
keep
so
this in the show. Actually, it's kind of funny that the ad interrupt. For once, let's just keep it because it works out. So it cut me off, but no worries.
Yeah.
So Taylor Heinicke on the plane after the win. Since the ad came up, we'll talk about it. A bunch of the players came up and put chains around his neck like Kirk.
All the defensive players. They put their turnover chains on him. Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
So that was cool.
Taylor's sitting there drinking his fucking Busch Lights. He's got like he's got like a bucket of fucking Busch Lights next to him, and he's just like sitting there like with the like fucking like 40-year-old like fucking dad glasses. You know, he's just sitting there drinking his fucking. That's badass, dude. That was really cool to see. And then,
I will
say,
got
the picture of Chase Young with him.
Oh yeah, right, definitely. That's awesome. And Chase should be back. That's actually big news. Chase should be back this week, which I imagine it would be in a limited capacity. But hopefully
he's gonna be in a rotation.
See him out there. Yeah, but just to see him get out there again. And the good thing is Taylor's named the starter this week, and it may be Carson going forward. We don't know. That's a whole conversation in itself.
Yeah.
But at least for this game, it'll be Taylor, so it'd be cool for Chase and Taylor to get to play a game together. Because I know,
we know what happened. Last time that was probably one of my favorite moments in recent seasons where Taylor gets the diving pylon touchdown and like Chase is like pointing to like the back of his jersey on the
He's like sitting there pointing at it like
that was pretty good. But I mean, so he'll be expected to be back. Obviously, they've had James Smith-Williams and Casey Toohill kind of rotating in there. So they've been doing a decent job.
Yeah, I was gonna say they've done decently. I will say in regards to Taylor, he really didn't have a great game in terms of the stats. 17 for 29, 211 yards, no touchdowns and one interception, rating of 66.9. Pretty bad, honestly. If it weren't for the intangibles that Taylor seems to have, that leads the team seems to play better. It's these things you really can't quantify, and I almost feel stupid saying it. I'm like, he obviously didn't play good, but there's just something about him being out there.
And I know we talked about it during as it was happening, but I think that his play of the game would have been where the high snap from Tyler Larson.
Oh, that one.
The high snap by Tyler Larson. Tyler Larson snaps it over his head. Taylor's got to retreat about 50. I mean, and I saw somebody post like if Taylor was taller, maybe like. Yeah. But either way, he's got the speed to go track that ball down.
Carson would have been tall enough for it, that's for sure. But
that is true. The man is like 6'5".
6'5",
yeah. So I mean, that ball would have probably hit Carson right in the chest. But I mean, obviously he tracked the ball down, recovered it, and made a beautiful pass just to throw the ball away. Didn't lose any yards, just lost the down, which I think may have been the most crucial play of the game.
That was a very big. Awesome. I thought you were talking about when he gave himself up.
That was great also. That was great also.
Because that seemed to me, I'm like, that's like a 200 IQ football play right there. Like he sees them coming, he knows he has nothing, and he just baits them. And then the fact that two of them hit him. Like if just one of them hit him trying to lose momentum, maybe they won't call it. Yeah. But no, two guys hit him. It's like, there's no way.
I saw the interview with the Eagles defense, and they're like, just wasn't sure what to do. It's like
he baited him. He knew he had nowhere to go, and he knew that they were going to try and come for him. So at the last second, he kneels down as they're already coming at him. So it's like he just set it up for that, which is super smart.
Yeah.
I mean, does he? Is it the arm talent like Mahomes? No, but shit, that was some smart shit to do.
I mean, and they're 3-1 since he's been in there. So regardless,
we've won the last 4 out of 5 games. The only game we lost was to Minnesota, which. In my opinion,
which could have been a win.
Easily been a win. It was a late game penalty that cost us that game, and especially, I mean, this game did have a lot of penalties. I was thinking, because the main thing that stood out to me is the blatant missed face mask when Jamin Davis tackled Dallas Goedert and he fumbled the ball. That was the most obvious face mask I've ever seen. Like in the first replay, you see it, and somehow they missed the call.
Right.
And I'm not complaining because it helps, but like at the same time, if that was any other team that did it to my team, I'd be losing my shit. So if I'm being unbiased, not saying, oh, yeah, I'm a Washington fan, but if I wasn't, I look at that and I'd be like,
missed call for sure.
But there was a lot of other missed calls and some ridiculous pass interference calls, like the one on when Terry had the ball and the guy was not turned around, like completely in front of him. You know, there was a couple instances that could have been other missed calls.
By comparison, though, I mean, Washington only with 5 penalties for 58 yards. So, yeah, some big ones in there, but definitely less penalties.
Yeah, it's less penalties, which is definitely good, but it's the fact of when they happened, and then it was also the missed calls on their defense that cost us a lot of big plays as well.
And then the Eagles had 7 for 75 as far as the penalties go.
Yeah.
But
Jalen Hurts didn't even have a very good game himself.
No.
Either. I mean, 17 for 26, 175, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. So at least he had some touchdowns.
But he did run for one as well. But I mean, only 28 yards rushing. His receivers didn't do. I mean, Goddard 3 for 23 and a touchdown. I think the most telling thing here was AJ Brown, their leading receiver, only getting 1 catch for 7 yards on 4 targets.
Right? He was on my opponent's fantasy team, and I'm like,
St. Juice shut him down. Yeah, I mean, St. Juice continuing to play well.
That was one of the other bad calls. It was a pass interference call on St. Juice that, I mean, it's debatable, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that with the way he's been playing, I mean, if he gives you like 1 foul, but like limits the opposing team's top receiver to like, I mean, that is what it is.
He's coming together. He's starting to look a lot better and Jamin Davis as well. He's starting to look like he's coming together as well.
I was going to say, I think we can finally stop talking about the Jamin Davis being a bust thing at this point. I think, obviously maybe playing him in a different role and also, taking
I think a lot of it's coaching. I think it's knowing
second year in the defense.
Yeah, I think it's knowing where and how to play players because that's what bad coaches historically do is they try and use players that don't fit in a certain scheme and they try and use them in another way, and it never
it's like
works.
Maybe this player's got some intangibles that we like, but we're going to play him out of position and see what happens there.
That's not how it works, man. You cannot be like William Jackson, like trying to play him out of position. It's like
now sometimes
that's why he wanted
works.
to trade,
like with your Samuel packages, with the 9. I saw that.
Well, that's different though. He's unique. Deebo Samuel is a unique type of weapon, like Curtis Samuel.
Well, and I mean like Curtis,
you can use them in different areas, but that's because they're good at that. That's what they're known for. Most of the time, especially on defense, like trying to move around defensive players, I feel like just doesn't go well. Except Jamin Davis when they play him wrong initially and then they move him to other roles and it works out. That's a different story. But a player who's historically played one, a certain thing and then trying to switch it up. Other than Landon Collins, I gotta think. I just remembered that when they swithed Landon Collins up, he actually started looking really good. So that'd be the one time I would say that did work. But usually it doesn't seem like it does.
The Taysom Hill transition is going pretty well. Another thing, we'll just mention this briefly because it's related to Washington. Samis Reyes, former Washington tight end. I don't know if you knew he was on the Bears right now, but he's on the Bears.
That, actually.
Bears are converting him to a defensive lineman. So we'll have to see if that works.
What?
Yeah. He's going to be like a defensive. The dude's massive. I mean,
he is big.
I guess I get
big,
it.
But damn, that's
like a speed rusher off the
change.
End. Yeah, I mean,
that kind of makes sense. So defense, a position like that seems like it would appeal better to someone who has less NFL experience. Just focus on that one role in the defense. Like you're not trying to catch passes and
he was a
pretty good blocker. Yeah, so I think it's possible it might work for them. I didn't know about that.
He's an imposing guy.
You mentioned it.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how that goes because I'd like to see him have success. I don't care if he's not on Washington anymore.
Yeah,
Sammy. Still hope the guy does well.
First Chilean-born NFL player. Good on him.
Right. Yep.
And I mean Washington, really playing bully ball, beating the Eagles the same way that they usually win games with 49 rush attempts, 49 for 152 and 2 touchdowns. Both Gibson and Robinson getting a rushing touchdown. B-Rob having his best game of the season as far as yards, 26 for 86, 3.3 average. But I mean, I liked what you said about him. I agree fully. He's a power back. Exactly. Dude's not averaging 4.8. I mean, like it took Derrick Henry a little while to get to that point, but I mean, like I think the way that they're using him, plus he's He's not
Although
played
in
a
this
full
game,
season yet.
Gibson didn't have a higher average. His average was 3.1. It's actually less. But normally, though, I don't think that's really the case. I mean,
and the Eagles have a talented defensive front, and I mean, even better now that they've added Ndamukong Suh, as we mentioned earlier. But I mean, so Robinson had 26 carries, a career high. Gibson had 14. Curtis Samuel had another 4. Curtis Samuel is second to only Deebo Samuel in rushing attempts by a wide receiver in the NFL. I saw they posted that up on the game, so I was like, that's funny. No relation Samuels between the two,
right?
No relation, but yeah, they could do like almost the same things. It's just Deebo's just.
It's crazy. We on both the teams we like. There's a player that's like kind of. I mean, I'm gonna give it to you. Deebo is better. Like, but I don't know how.
But Curtis can do a lot of those things. Yeah,
it's like close, like maybe like 10% better. Like
yeah. I mean, Deebo last year I think was at his peak. We haven't gotten into
Deebo
that
last year
level.
Was fucking insane.
And I mean, I know that a lot of that's been he's been dealing with the hamstring again, and we've had just so many other pieces like with CMC now. Kyle's so excited to be using CMC. It's like I feel like he doesn't.
I know, right?
Kittle had 1 catch last week, and it just it wasn't enough. But yeah, so let's talk about some of the receivers real quick. I mean, Terry obviously
Terry
going
went
off
the hell off, but that's expected when Taylor's under center because he loves him and Terry. It's like they have this. There's just a connection there.
There's definitely chemistry there,
and you can see if you look at this list real quick: 128 for Terry, 28 for Curtis Samuel, 15 for Diami Brown, and everyone else is below that. Every good pass went to Terry, which is like
I mean, Jahan Dotson made his return after missing 5 games. The rookie sensation. He only caught 1 pass for 14 yards on like the first or second drive, and they didn't even look his way again. But again,
really
what he brings, just being out there, just having number 1 out there, is you've got to cover him. I mean, he's another talented receiver, and he's better than Cam Sims or Diami Brown or Dax
Absolutely.
Milne. So, I mean, you can't double Terry.
He's number 3 in our top 3, basically.
Yeah,
when he's
absolutely.
Healthy.
Yeah, we saw Logan get a little bit involved, catching 2 passes for 12 yards. Finally, after being blanked the last 2 games.
Right.
So, I mean, coming together, not a huge amount of passing yards, but you don't need that when you run for 152 on. And that was a great strategy. I mean, the time of possession in this game.
That's what I was just going to say. The time of possession was insane.
40 minutes and 24 seconds to 19 minutes and 36 seconds. I mean, you guys literally beat the Eagles at their own game. This is what they've been doing to people all season long. So, Washington 32, Philly 21. Philly's 8-1. Washington 5-5, still well within the playoff hunt. A lot of football left to be played here with 7 games. And very winnable game coming up here against the Houston Texans. But you don't want that to be a trap game. Obviously, we can never overlook any opponent in the NFL because all these teams are good. And we've seen it time and time again. We've seen the Panthers beat the Bucks. And obviously, we know the Bucks are talented because they beat the Seahawks. They just didn't play their best game that week. Yeah. So there's a lot of parity in the NFL. Any team can win on any given Sunday. That being said, I don't think the Texans are going to win.
Me either.
But yeah, I mean, you can't overlook any opponent. So got to go into this game. And I think they will. I think they'll come out and show out. And the Texans have one of the worst defenses against the run. So I just look for them to continue what they've been doing on the ground and try to gash Houston again. Obviously, try to work play action off of that with Taylor. And, he's going to hit some big ones to Terry, probably Curtis as well. Maybe we'll get a little bit more Logan Thomas involvement. That would be great.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I feel like he should be involved. If he's healthy. I mean, Logan is a good, safety valve there. If Taylor just loves to throw to Terry. It's just that
absolutely
Terry's down there somewhere, man.
Yeah, down there somewhere. Absolutely. Yeah, and I mean, we do know that Taylor's got at least one more week to be the starter. Wentz was throwing on Wednesday's practice off to the sideline.
He was throwing lightly, is what I read.
Yeah,
so not
throwing lightly.
Throwing.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
so he's not ready to.
He may not even start next week. I mean, if it's only throwing lightly, it might be another week before he's actually healthy. So.
Yeah, and then you've also got to think that, if it gets late enough in the season and Taylor's playing well, it's like, well, do you even put him back in? Because obviously, if he plays over X amount of snaps, that draft pick, becomes
goes to a 2 instead of a 3, which is not ideal. So I think starting Taylor, I mean, he's won 3 out of his 4 games. We should.
I mean, I think you can't go away from the hot hand.
I agree.
Given you any
the team
reason
melds
to...
the melds better with him. I don't know. It's like, again, I almost feel dumb saying it because he's really not like that great of a quarterback. But there's just something about the energy with the team and the way they play. I mean, Taylor had that late game winning drive the other week. So I don't know. I know Wentz on paper is a better thrower and a better quarterback on paper, but I don't know, man. I think we're better off.
I mean,
Taylor.
It's like that. It's like, not to be corny, but it's like that Replacements quote. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie, but it's like he's got heart. Talking about Shane Falco, it's like you can't measure heart, and that's how I feel with Jimmy. I mean, like, it's like what can you say about him? It's like, well, the dude comes out, he's got a good defense, he gets a lot of help, but the man also just wins. So it's like
he's enough for what the Niners need. Is he the best? No, but like, is he really good for the Niners historically? So
he's the best option we've had since Jeff Garcia.
Yeah. So I don't understand anyone that has the hate on Jimmy, but there's crazy fans of either side. I mean, there's people that hate Taylor, which I don't understand how. Given the underdog story, I don't.
There's people that hate Wentz too. I don't hate either of them. I was like, let's just support both.
That's a lot more understandable. I mean, I don't really like Wentz. Like, even as a person, he's very vanilla and just I don't get any good feeling out of listening to him speak at a press conference. Like, I don't enjoy. Like, it's not, you know what I mean? Like with Taylor or Jimmy or George Kittle, I love listening to them talk at the press conference. When Carson Wentz comes out, I'm just like, fuck this dude. I don't even care.
Carson's just, a family man. He's kind of a little bit boring. He's like maybe
it's kind of like Kirk Cousins in a way, but Kirk Cousins is he's even better than Carson Wentz, I think. Like, geez.
I was pretty impressed to see Thug and Kurt.
Right? Kurt
I didn't like it. Kurt Thuggins. I didn't like the situation that he had just beaten Washington.
Yeah, I know, right?
I was like, all right, Kurt, I gotta give you your props there.
Yeah, all that celebration for beating Washington, who's supposed to be a shitty team. It's like, tone it down a notch, guys. Tone it down a notch.
Yeah,
but then
I think they're proving that they're not a shitty team now. Obviously,
right. Well, at the time,
the power rankings.
Yeah. I think they were 18 last time I looked, but it's probably different now after beating the Eagles. Maybe.
I think you guys are up to 14 now, maybe.
Sweet.
I always save it, so I'll post it up here, but we'll see. But then, just briefly again mentioning, we are getting Chase Young back this week. Going to get to see him in action. Going to get to see him hopefully eat against the Texans defensive line that's not that good. Montez Sweat did get the only sack last week for Washington. And then, the Eagles actually got 3 sacks, but you wouldn't really know it based on the score. I mean, they do have a good defensive line. And then the last guy that we just got to give some love to before, kicking 14 points through the uprights is Mr. Joey Slye, the thickest kicker in the National Football League. Booting along a 58 yards. It sank me in fantasy football, but I can't even be mad. It's just he had such a good game. 4 for 4 on field goals, 2 for 2 on extra points.
It's funny when he was going out to make that kick, I was telling my mom, because we were watching. I was like, you know what? If there's a kicker other than Justin Tucker that can make this kick in the NFL, it's Joey Slye. So like, he might actually make this, and he bangs it through. He would have made that from like 61, 62 yards.
There's a lot of kickers that can make that actually. Like, so I mean, you got Harrison Butker with the Chiefs. I mean, we got a lot of big leg kickers in the NFL now. We got Evan McPherson can hit long ones. He's been missing some short ones lately, but Evan Big Balls McPherson with the Bengals has a pretty good leg too. So yeah, I mean, the age of the kickers coming up, but yeah, Joey Slye definitely the biggest kicker in the NFL, and obviously that plays to his favor as he can just annihilate that football through the uprights. But
I want to know how far he could have made that from, because like it was about halfway through the uprights when it went through. So I don't know how that would
probably about
to
65,
yards.
Maybe.
You think so?
Maybe.
Damn.
Yeah, I mean,
I was thinking like 61, 62, but
so
you were
it really just
you
depends.
Probably know more what that ratio is.
Yeah.
Because it was still going pretty fast. Like.
Yeah. So I mean, the thing with a kick like that is a lot of times when you kick the ball longer, you have to kick it at a lower trajectory to get it to travel further. So those are the kicks that are often more susceptible to being blocked. But in that situation, I mean, he hit it not only like high, but far. So I mean, that was a hell of a kick. I was very impressed by that.
Beautiful kick, yeah.
Like there's some that you can tell. you can't really tell which way the kick's going, but like as soon as he hit that, you're like, yeah, it's
you're like, yeah, wow,
through.
that's going straight in. Like,
yeah, absolutely. But yeah, big game against Houston. Obviously, I think it'll be another win, chance to go to 6-5, and Dallas lost.
To be positive,
yeah.
Let's
so
get it.
Aaron doing a huge favor to the Commanders.
Thank you, Aaron. I'm sorry we had to beat you, but man, I appreciate it.
Aaron played his best game of the season for sure.
Yeah,
so
definitely,
and they needed it. But yeah, I mean, so they lost. Hopefully the Giants can start stacking some losses, and then the Eagles obviously lost, which was
it seems like news. The wild card is going to be more our path to the playoffs.
More than
At
likely.
least the way things are now. I don't expect these teams to lose that much for us to pass them. But the other thing that's going to come down to the Niners might be a part of that too. So we're getting to that part of the season where
honestly though, like we're only a half game back on Seattle, and we've got to play them one more time head to head.
You could still retake the lead.
So if we take the division, then that leaves the two or the wild card spots wide open for you guys. And they're doing the expanded wild card again. So I think 3 teams get in. So
likely that if we continue to play decently,
I think if you guys continue to win, I think they'll get in. I mean, I definitely think the Niners are getting in.
We have several fairly easy games coming up. I know we have the Falcons and then the Texans this week.
Yeah.
And then I know the Giants is one of them, which it may not be easy. But
I've seen a lot of Washington fans. Yeah, I've seen a lot of Washington fans post that like the only game they're concerned about on the remainder of the schedule is the Niners game. So I was like,
I saw that too. Respect. Yeah, right. It's like that's why when I messaged you earlier, I was like, "Uh-oh, dude, we're getting to that point in the season where."
Yeah, I know when everybody like sees Kyle like play you guys, it's like kind of like a fucking thought of like what could have been if they would have kept him.
Yeah, right. Same with Sean McVay.
Yeah, and LaFleur. I almost called him McFleur. McFlurry.
Matt McFlurry.
Matt McFlurry. Yeah.
That's his new nickname from now on. Matt McFlurry.
We got Matt McFlurry, and then we got the Biscuit as the backup quarterback down in Pittsburgh.
That one always cracks me up. I don't know why. Yeah. The Biscuit.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Good shit.
All right. Well, join us next week, everybody. We're going to have another badass show in store for you. Make sure that, if you haven't already, you're smashing that like and subscribe button for us. Helps us out. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everybody. Go Commanders.
And that's going to do it for the Extra Point Show this week. Make sure that you subscribe if you're not already. It really helps us out and helps us grow. Give us a like as well.
Absolutely. And if you're a Washington fan or a San Francisco fan, make sure to always check out the Commanders Countdown and the Niners News Update.
Okay, well, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you all next week.
See you next week.